Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Sorry we had a little delayed start there. We had some technical difficulties we had to get around. But thanks for joining us tonight. We've got our last episode coming your way. Um, so, of course, again, welcome into the Money Stop, as we like to say every week. I am joined by my co host, Laner. If you want to let the viewers know you're on.
Hello, everybody.
Sound very enthusiastic. Um, we've got a lot to get to tonight, though. We've got a special guest in the studio, which we're going to interview later. And then we're going to first recap the championship race, but also just recap the season and, more so get to anything that's coming up or, what we're looking forward to um, coming up as the next season starts, I guess a little down the road. But let's get right into the championship race. So, uh, Land walks home with the trophy once again. He is now a three-time champion of, I guess, between Rocar and RoMuscle. He won two championships for RoMuscle and then won one in Rocar. So um, it's kind of difficult to follow the split, but nonetheless, he's still a three-time champion, and he walks away with it once again last Saturday night. So I would like to wish him a congratulations on that. He did a phenomenal job, as well as the rest of us, the rest of the three guys. Um, I would say, at least for our team, the 44 team was kind of like up and down all night. We started off really strong, and then I think just the strategy kind of threw us off a little bit. We took we took we took left side tires, I think. Yeah, because the right sides didn't wear as fast. We took left side tires on one of the stops, and then the right side started wearing like super, super fast. So we ended up coming back down pit road, and that was like the stop that threw everybody off, and we were kind of off sequence for the rest of the night. So just a bad call, I guess, and not really a good setup for our team. I felt good about the car in the beginning, but it kind of just went away. It sucks, but not every race is going to work out how you want it, unfortunately. Um, but it worked out in Land's favor. I will say that it did work out very well. Down to the wire with I think two or three to go. Laner, you and him were in the thick of it, battling it out for the championship, and it was a pretty good battle. I think Land just had the overall better car with handling wise, and I'm not sure about tires because everybody was, I wouldn't say on equal tires, but like the tires just didn't matter. Um, you know, Compared to some other tracks, like the tire wear just didn't matter. But we found out very quickly that when the tires did wear, your approach to the surface, the racing surface, and um, just your um, timing your runs right were crucial in making passes. So um, I think Land definitely did a good job with that. He timed the pass on you just at the right time, and yeah, I don't know if you want to walk through it because I was a little further behind, but you guys had a pretty interesting battle, I guess you could say.
Uh, yeah. I'm wasn't everybody on equal tires at the end though? Because we had a caution. You and Wendigo got into a wreck at the end,
Yeah.
and then pretty sure everybody pitted. So I think in that final, however many laps, everybody was on equal tires, weren't we?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
watching back the stream now. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, our team was trying to save fuel all night. So we were running fourth place pretty much all night, kind of being conservative, just trying to save fuel. Um, and then we got the lead pretty late in the race, but unfortunately, I wasn't really prepared for it because we had been running fourth all night. So we take the lead, and then um, I don't know, like I hadn't really been running competitively, because I was just running super conservative, trying to save fuel. So I feel like Land was up there running up front all night, so he kind of had an idea of how to race the track. But for me, I was like, that was my first uh, few laps all night actually going at 100%. So I think, I don't know, it if I could have done it differently, I would probably go back and try to learn the track more during the race. But unfortunately, um, we weren't running hard for most of the night, so I didn't really know how to defend him properly. But yeah, I would agree that he definitely had the best car all night. So Wendigo was pretty consistent too, but I don't think um, his car was on the same level as Land's.
Yeah, I I would agree. I think, obviously he had the best car. I think he still put up a hell of an effort, for everything considered. You know, it's not like you lost and he ran away with it. It kind of came right down to the wire. So, um,
No, yeah, and once Land got by me, Wendigo was right behind him, so it was like I fell back to third at that point. I didn't have enough time. Um,
yeah.
if Wendigo wasn't right there and I got behind Land, maybe we would have had a shot. But I just had to. I tried to hold him tight on the inside, and but at that point, you already lost. You're not going to make the outside work. So I just had to fall back to third and try to make my way back towards the front. But at that point, we only had like a lap and a half left, so it was kind of done from that point.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Wendigo as well because he did an excellent job, um, just with holding himself up, during the race. He's never been in a situation like that before. He's never made it to the championship four, and it's a pretty amazing feat to be able to get to the championship four in your rookie season. Um, and he's been consistent enough all season where he definitely deserved a spot. Um, it sucks that how it ended up, but he made it there, and he was in the mix as well. Um, down it was all down to the wire for all four of us, I think. So, but he definitely did a good job with leading. And he really established that he's here to stay for a while. And he did win the poll. He won the last poll of the season. So I think that's definitely something to shout out and mention as well. He did just a great job all night. Sucks that it didn't work out for him, but he'll have many more shots to get into the final four, and I have no doubt in my mind that he will win a championship one day. It's only a matter of time. But I would say for the race itself, I fairly enjoyed it. I don't know if I would ever see it come back as a championship venue, just because, like, I think when the championship venue like was announced this season, I think like we had thought it was going to be multi groove, and with or without, it's still fun. It just didn't feel that way, I guess, with four cars. Like, the race went by very fast, and there wasn't a lot going on. It was a real race, but there wasn't a lot going on, and I was bored at times. Like, I did not enjoy the entire race. But nonetheless, it was still
Yeah.
a good experience, I would say. But I don't think I would want to see it back as a championship venue.
The thing about the championship is you're just logging laps until the end.
Hmm.
Like you're there's I wouldn't say there's no point in the first 84 laps, but like really, you don't care what happens until you get to the end of the race. So I don't know. I had fun, but I'm sure people who were watching the race probably did not. I'm sure it was not fun from a viewer's perspective. from a driver's perspective, it was entertaining enough. I mean, I wasn't like falling asleep at my keyboard, but it wasn't the most entertaining race I've ever been a part of. Uh, but that's kind of just what you get when you only have four cars on track.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I don't know. I would like to open this up for discussion too, because I know that this has kind of been different every season, but should we allow other drivers to be racing in the championship race? And I know that it's it's up for debate because of team orders, but like we probably would have had a guy like Lego Racing or a guy like Kragus Racing, that doesn't play on the same team, at least for right now. They're both moving to teams that would have, but the point is they were on different teams at the time of that race. So I think they would stay out of the way, but like I wonder just for added chaos or, just um for giggles and shits kind of to add them into the race. But I don't know. I think with four cars, I didn't enjoy it. I don't know what your thoughts are on that because it kind of opens up a can of worms. But I'd like to get your
Yeah, I
thoughts
mean,
on it.
I think it would make the race feel more natural because you would probably have more cautions occurring. Um, Me personally, I only would want to see more than four cars if we had multi-groove.
Yeah,
Um, because the way the cars are right now, everyone's running the same line. Um, if one of the championship drivers gets in a wreck and you fall to the back, it's going to be really hard to make up those spots again. I mean, unless the drivers that aren't racing in the championship are just courteous and they give you the spot, but there's no guarantees in that. So if we had multi groove, I would definitely be in favor of it because you could kind of move your way around the track, and everybody's not using the same racing line. But with the way it is right now, I would not. But hopefully next season, if we have multi groove, that could be expanded.
yeah. Um, I think multi-groove would definitely help improve that experience. Um, I would hope it does at least. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of it. But I know at least from like the previous um, the previous races, the previous championship races, I know that we have had other cars at times race in those races, and it helped mix things into it. I know, I believe the last row car championship was everybody was allowed to race in that one. But another thing we also had too was no stages, and I would say now that given that we had no stages, I would probably bring stages back. Um, Not to jumble up the field, but just to maybe create like a break, I guess. Like if it's on a different style of track or, um, but I honestly don't think we should run that long of a race without stage breaks. Um, that's just my opinion, but I did not like the call, I guess, now looking at it about no stages. But I guess in hindsight, it was a good call, but I don't think for the future, I think that there should be stage breaks.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, Anything else we want to talk about with the championship race?
Not really. I will say that I know you kind of mentioned it, but I was really impressed with Wendigo. Um, he was kind of got the I don't know what the word is. He kind of got called out for being the most aggressive driver all season, and he made a lot of enemies along the way. And I was very surprised with how respectful he was racing during the championship race. So props to him for that. I think he did an amazing job, and he had a shot at the end to win the championship. I mean, He I watching the replay, he tried to make a pass on land at the end, and from what I see, he kind of lifted because he didn't want to wreck land and, just uh total team implosion, give SSR the championship, which is very smart on his part because if he would have sent it into that corner, they definitely would have both wrecked and one of us would have won. So props to him, honestly. Great. He did a great job.
Well, I don't know if they would have both wrecked. Um, turns three and
One
four
of them would have,
kind of,
though.
yeah, one
One
of
of
them
them
definitely
would
wouldn't
have.
have made it out of that corner. But I think in terms of like just 3 and 4 alone, like turns 3 and 4, I don't think like if Wendigo had tried to make the pass logistically, I don't think both of them would have crashed. Um, I don't, I don't think he would have wanted to wreck land either, just given that, for team's sake. But I'm sure he wanted to try and make a move, but just didn't have enough time or enough laps to do it. But I guess it's one of those situations where you could have said, "What if this happened?" or would have, could have, should have. I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think they definitely both would have wrecked, but one of them would not have made it out of that turn, and it either
Yep.
would have been land or it would have been Wendigo. If they both had crashed, you know, we both probably would have made it through. Maybe I don't know. But again, kind of woulda, coulda, shoulda situation. But
Would have been a very awkward team meeting. Although
yeah,
Wendigo's the team, so maybe he wouldn't care. But
yeah, I don't know. Um, But let's see. Um, moving on from the championship race, we'll get to more about the championship later on when we interview Land. So definitely stick around for that. We're going to kind of put a period on the season and what this season has kind of been. We've it's been a long, long season. Um, and it felt kind of like a never-ending season for a minute there. But nonetheless, we made it. And just we're gonna go over some kind of winners. We're gonna go over some losers this season. Maybe some tracks of ours that we have highlighted as our least favorite or our favorite. Maybe some rising stars for next season and beyond, or just maybe some people that have improved this season and could go beyond, and become a rising star. Um, so let's start with winners. Should we name like two or three people for winners or losers? I feel like that would be good.
yeah, that would. Yeah.
All right. So my three winners, I didn't write them down, but my three winners, obviously, the first one has to be Land. Had a very successful season. He ended off the season with 6 wins, and I believe that's the highest any driver has ever gotten to. Between here or Rokar. Rosim is excluded. I don't know how many wins Clocks got. Don't want to know. Um, but at least with between here and Rokar, I think that has been the highest anybody's ever gotten to. So he's definitely a winner in my category, and I have to also put um, I also have to put myself there. I gotta because I also had a great season too. I don't think there was anything to really be like down about. Our whole team had a great season, and I think 5 wins is the highest that I've ever gotten to. But just the consistency that we had all season long while we've been there, while we've been at the races, has been very good. So I definitely would put myself there as well. Again, not being biased, but and then I would put Kragus there. Kragus had a breakout season, and he just missed out on the championship four, but he had an awesome season. I mean, like you really can't look at it any other way. it sucks that he did not make it to the Final Four, but he had an incredible season. And just a way to show everybody, that he can still do it. He's only had seasons where he's gotten 1 or 2 wins, and this has definitely been his best season in terms of statistics and winning races and everything involved with that. But yeah, those are my 3 winners. Laner, if you would like to go.
Um, I'll definitely put you and Land on the winners. Um, I would put Wendigo as my third one. Um, just because in his rookie season, I mean, he makes the championship four. So, you can't really ask for any more than that. I think he had an outstanding season. Obviously, Land won the championship, and you won like literally all of the crown jewels this season. You won the 600, you won the Row Car 500, and you won the RoMuscle 500. So, although you didn't win the championship, I still think you had a very successful season as well.
All right, let's move on to some losers then. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if I can really think of like anyone that just comes off the top of my head. I guess I don't know, man. Like, I don't
Okay,
know.
I can
Like,
give you one.
who are you thinking?
I'm thinking Lego. Um,
I mean, yeah.
Lego
Oh,
had a disappointing season. Um, yeah, he's tied for most top tens, but I think Lego, like, I think he could have had so much of a better season had that team and that car had more speed, um, and just consistency of running up front. We've mentioned it in previous episodes, but it seems like whenever he would get up front, he would kind of just let the other drivers kind of push him out of the way. Um, and it sucks, but I think that team definitely, as he moves to SSR next season, I would hope that he just looks forward to winning races and being up front and in the mix every week.
I guess I would put Aiden in that category. Just because I expected that team to make the round of six, personally. Um, I don't know if maybe they missed out on too many playoff points during the season or what the issue was. Um, but they were one race away from making the championship four last season. So it was definitely a disappointment for that team to not advance out of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Also too, like, I'm not calling anybody losers. These are just based off of the season you had. You were the one driving the car. Just saying. Nobody drove the car for you. So I am judging your season based off of how you drove the car and where you finished. So um, these are just opinion based, I guess. I don't even know. Uh, I guess did you listed your two already, right?
Yeah.
I think who I completely missed your second one. Who was your second one?
Oh wait, did I? I didn't. I just said Aiden. Okay, if I had to give a second one, I would probably say, um, shoot, I don't even know, man. Maybe like, are we doing like full time, like active people?
No, it can be anybody off that list.
So anybody that's raced at all during the season?
Well, except for Rondo. He was there for like 1 week, but everybody
Because
above
if we're
Rondo.
gonna, because like I would put Slater in that category because like dude just like had a breakout season last season, won four races, and then only shows up to like 2 races this year. So um, I would definitely put him in that category.
Okay. I think my other driver is going to be Icy. I think Icy, I think it was a season of missed opportunities for him. And I kind of mentioned it last week, but he has ran up front and he's led laps, but he hasn't been able to close the deal. And it's unfortunate with how it's worked out for him. Um, just like he was close in Milwaukee, you know. He's been close whenever he's been racing. He's been so good on any type of track you put him on. And he tries his best to stay out of trouble. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt. He tries his best to stay out of trouble or anybody else's business. He knows he's not in the playoffs, so he wasn't racing playoff drivers aggressively. But when it still came down to crunch time and to go for the win, he wasn't lifting. He was racing for it as much as anybody else. So I will give him that. But I think just it's been a season of kind of ups and downs again for that four team. But I certainly hope next season that they're able to bounce back. And I don't know what his availability is going to look like, but if he's at any races, I hope he at least wins a couple of whatever he's at. Um, Again, just depending on like what his schedule looks like. But yeah, those are my losers. But again, still chances to improve for any of those drivers next season. Okay, let's move into our least favorite tracks and our favorite tracks. So I am going to dig up the schedule here, and I haven't dug up the schedule in a minute. So we had some races where we had to switch tracks, so there may be a couple on here that are not entirely accurate, but just going off of how the schedule looks, um, our season started at Daytona, and from there we went to Atlanta, and I believe we did Atlanta. We did Richmond, we did Coda. I think we did Homestead, we did Darlington, we did North Wilkesboro, we did Kansas, we did Iowa, I believe, right?
No, we switched to New Hampshire.
Okay. That was that yeah. I was gonna say we started at Iowa and then we switched. Damn, let me get a pen. So I think past that, we did Talladega, we did part of DC, but then we switched. So and then we did Chicagoland, we did Martinstown. For Washington DC, which track did we switch to?
Watkins Glen.
Okay. And then for Nashville, we switched tracks, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember where we went.
I think that one was Kentucky.
Okay, yeah.
And then we did Charlotte, we did Canada. Uh Pocono we did, right? Yeah. And then
Yeah, we
Vegas, we
did
just switched to
Pocono.
Old Vegas. And then we did the rest. All right. So we only switched tracks four times, which was pretty good. Still more than, I would have liked to see, but um let's pick three of our favorite tracks that we raced on. I would say, at least for me, I'm a little biased, but I would say Richmond was just a really good track for me as a driver, but for our team. We kicked everybody's ass that night, and I think it was just a really good. It's a really good track for me, fits my style, and it was really, really good um, for us that night. But I would say that one. Um, I think I would say Watkins Glen too. I don't know what it is about Watkins Glen, but I think this season it was more fun. I don't know if there was just the tires were different or, just the package was a little different, but I thoroughly enjoyed how the race was, like how it played out and it was so much fun cuz it raced differently every lap. So the only thing I didn't enjoy was my broken pit box, but that's besides the point. And then I would have to go with damn. I would say Chicagoland. Chicagoland was a lot of fun. And we had one of the closest finishes there too. So definitely a good race for our team, and just I think it was a good showing for the league. But all right, on to you.
I would say Milwaukee, no bias. Um, Milwaukee was a good track. Um, I actually enjoyed the Washington Street course before we switched. Um, so I would put that in there.
Okay.
Um, and maybe Chicagoland. Chicagoland was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, Chicagoland was very fun. Um, all right, good picks. Um, my least favorite track, I think I really only have one. And I hate to do this because it is a good track, but I just hated Vegas. Like I did not enjoy it for some reason. Um, I enjoyed most of the other races that I was at least at or like present. Um, oh yeah, I would say Vegas and Kentucky were terrible. And I don't know. I just didn't enjoy both of those races, but those are my only two least favorites.
Okay. Um, you said Vegas and Kentucky.
Yes.
Okay. My least favorite. I hate Watkins Glen. I've always hated that track in road car. Um, so I'll put Watkins Glen on there. I don't know why we would do that, but okay. Watkins Glen. Um, least favorite tracks. I don't really know that there was New Hampshire. I didn't like the bumps. I did not. I know a lot of other
Um,
people like that, but I didn't. I just I just don't. Sorry.
yeah,
Kill me for it. I didn't like it.
New Hampshire was difficult. I don't even know why we went there. That race was
It was just too much for me with the bumps. Like, oh my gosh. If it didn't have bumps, that would have been a lot of fun, but
yeah.
that was just too much for me.
I found that once the tires wore a little bit, it became easier with the bumps, but still it just was not enjoyable.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
all right, so who we'll pick one driver for a rising star. Um, I'll go first because this one's easy. I think Wendigo is a rising star easily. I think, again, he had a great season and went all the way to the championship four. And he definitely should hold his head high, that he had a great season. And again, he's going to be sticking around. So, he's going to win some races next season, or, I don't know when he's going to have his breakout season. He could have had it this season, but, we'll have to wait and see. But he is definitely a rising star, I would say, among the Cup Series field.
I agree. Yeah, I would say Wendigo and Jax. Um, yeah, yeah, Wendigo and Jax would be my two rising stars. We don't really have that many other prospects, honestly.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happens in the off season if we get any newcomers. Um,
Yeah.
okay, and then should we even pick like maybe like drivers that we hope improve next season, or should we just skip over that?
I mean, I feel like we kind of already uh, did that with our loser category.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's why I wanted to ask. But um, all right, so couple more things, and then we're going to bring our guest of honor into the episode. Um, Season 2 awards are coming up. So if you have not filled out the form and submitted your responses, please do so soon. Um, Lego is kind of organizing that whole thing. So he is counting on people to submit those responses. So if you haven't gotten to that yet, it takes maybe 5-10 minutes. So there's some interesting questions on there. You know, you can vote for most popular driver, your least favorite driver, best moments throughout the season, favorite paint schemes. You know, there's a lot of different categories on there up for grabs. So definitely reminder to fill out that form. The award show itself is coming up either this weekend or next week. I'm not sure yet on when that is happening, but it is coming up within the next week. It should be here, but definitely look forward to that. Um, we will get to oh yeah, I had this circled to mention during our season recap. I meant to mention our final laps led for the season. um Thanks to Lego, he's been keeping up with the laps led all season long. And Land ended up winning the most laps led at 453. Then I came second at 396. Craigus had 214. Wendigo had 191. Laner had 189. Lego had 127. Aiden had 57. Jax had 47. Slater had 43. And Icy had 13. So there are your final laps led for this season. And thank you again to Lego for keeping up with that and keeping us updated every after every race. But hopefully that continues next season. Anyways, on to what I was going to say. Um, Obviously, looking forward to next season. You know, it's been a great season, not only for our team but just for our league evolving. You know, obviously we are moving back to Rocar, but um, you know we had a long season, and there's been a lot going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all carries over, and everything that entails with I guess season 7, I guess it is now. But Laner, any parting thoughts on season 2 of RoMuscle?
Um, I would say that it's been a very up and down season. Um,
That's for sure.
it it's been a really long season. I mean, we started this in April, so the season has been going on like half of the year. It's been almost 6 months, um, which is long for a real life racing series, let alone a Roblox racing series. So yeah, it's had its ups and downs, but overall, I don't know. It was an entertaining season. I just think that in the future we should try to do shorter seasons.
Yeah, and we are definitely looking forward to that. Um, Amen. All right, let's move into our interview with Land. So, first off, he has been in the studio the whole time. I don't know if you guys could see his arm over to the right of the screen. Probably not because of how the camera is cut off. But on my screen, I can see him. But he's been in the studio the whole time. So we want to welcome him into the show. He's been listening to everything we've had to say. But uh, Land, we're gonna ask you a couple questions, nothing too hard. Just want to feel out, I guess, how this championship has gone for you so far, and um, kind of looking at how this cements your legacy more, and what's next past that. Laner, I don't. I put some questions in our private chat, so I guess he can pick from there later. I don't know if you want to pick out what questions you want to ask, but um, I guess I'll start. So, Land, walk me through the final laps and how your strategy led you to win that race.
Yeah, so obviously we had that late race restart, and then I don't know who it was that crashed with me, but we fell like 2 seconds back with like 10 laps to go. So we really had to. Am I allowed to curse on here or no?
I mean, I've said shits and giggles already tonight, so
Oh, perfect. So we had to basically haul ass like for 3 or 4 laps, which wasn't preferable. Made it a bit difficult, more difficult than it had to be. But at that point, it was just try not to be just sent up the track. Like I was having to send it into the corners more than I normally would. Um, and the only time I didn't send it into the corners was turn 3 on the last lap, and I almost damn near got ran over. So um, it was really just trying to take away situations that could end with me getting sent up the track, and that's what got us the win.
okay. Um, Also, I didn't even say this, but congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You are now a three-time champion, and it's been pretty amazing to watch you come this far, and to see everything that you've accomplished. Not only racing with you, but just getting to know you as a person online and stuff. And it's been pretty amazing to see all that you've accomplished in your time on here. But Laner, I don't know if you have anything you want to ask him.
By the way, the person that wrecked with you was me.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly, I think it was. Yeah, me and you got into a wreck pretty late in the race, so I'm assuming it was me. Um, but anyways, does your does this championship like feel any different to you, like being a three-time champion, or uh, is it no different than the other two?
Yeah, for sure. It feels a ton different. It may just because of what I have going on in my personal life right now. That's kind of overcrowded the emotion of that, but it's felt a lot different from the other two, for sure.
Like, do you think this one's more special, or
Um, Obviously, I'm really happy I won, but that week was just terrible in a whole. So I was just really wanting to get out of that week,
yeah,
and yeah.
it's understandable.
How's your first few days been as champion? I've seen the pictures, and I know that you took a little trip to New York. If you want to tell us a little bit about that, and just kind of how your first days has been as back to back champion.
Yeah, New York City's crazy. I thought that there were roaches big down here and rats big down here, but
Oh yeah,
there's some
man,
the
it's
size of
crazy.
small dogs down there, man.
It's crazy.
But they got me on top of the Empire State Building this year, which I mean, it was an experience. The elevator actually broke on the way up there.
Oh,
Um,
lovely.
that was just an 11-year-old game though, but um, so yeah, it's just been an experience.
Well, it sounds like
Um,
you had a lot of fun.
yeah. How's next season gonna look for you, like as a driver and for GFM as an organization?
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, we're we're fairly confident at like road courses and mile and a halves, but we get to super speedways, we can't just keep on just marking those as a race where we're probably going to lose a whole bunch of points. We just can't keep on doing that. So I'm really putting a lot of effort and focus into super speedway race strategy and changing that, because if there's a super speedway race in the whatever like last round, I'm going to have to find a way how to not wreck out and finish last for like the 8th straight time. So it just comes down to just focusing on what I'm not really good at and trying to balance it out, because I have a big Achilles heel with super speedway racing.
That's fair.
I want to ask you this because I feel like you've answered this before, and you can answer this however whichever way you want to answer it. But obviously you've been doing this a long time, and I wanted to ask you, how much do you think you have left in the tank to go?
I mean, I haven't really given it a whole bunch of thought. The feeling has been there, but like, what else am I going to do on Saturday nights if my college doesn't even have a football team? So,
Good point.
there's just not really a reason for me to leave, because in the end, I'm gonna be sitting home at Saturday night anyway, because my bedtime's 8:30, and I'm getting old. I'm 22 years old, and my back hurts every morning. So, um, I mean, we'll see once I transfer somewhere, but right now I think I have at least a full season in me, but I won't let anyone know if I am retiring until like literally the race before, because I don't like spotlight like that.
Um,
Go ahead.
how do you feel about next season, especially like with the unknowns of the cars we'll be driving or the tracks we'll be going to? Um, I mean, I guess just with next season being completely unknown, does that scare you, or do you have confidence in your team and yourself as a driver?
It doesn't really scare me. I've been through enough changes in road car that I've been able to adapt to. Um, we saw in season one with the mid-season move to the block cars. Me and you and CSP were pretty good,
Mhm.
and that took a whole lot of adaptability. And I feel like I've just gotten better at adapting since then. Obviously, it'll be slow at the gates probably, but I'm typically a mid-season driver anyway, so I'm not too worried about that.
Um, how let me see. How will let me see. Yeah, how will you plan on spending the rest of the off season?
Um, I don't really know. I don't know how long the off season's gonna last, but right now I'm just focusing on school and putting myself in the best situation as possible for my future.
This is not on our list, but I was just thinking of it just now. Um, by the end of your career, however many seasons that is away, give me a number. I guess, how many more championships would you like to win, or how many more races would you like to win? And again, you don't have to be very specific, but if you would like to maybe give us an outlook on, you know, what you think you would want to end up with.
Well, starting out, whenever I first started here, I just wanted a win, so I've already hit that. I don't really have like a goal to reach win wise or championship wise, because I never thought I would actually be winning like a championship or even a race. So I'm just going week by week and win by win.
It's a good outlook. It's a
Fair
good way to
enough.
look at it.
I do want to mention though, your win at the championship was your 25th career win. Um, I don't. I keep the stats for the wins, so I don't know if other people realize that. But 25 wins is a pretty big accomplishment for road car. Your first all time on the wins with 25. You're a 3-time champion, and you've won the road car 500, and you've won the All Star race. So um, I don't really know like what else there is for you to do as a driver. In terms of the crown jewels, maybe you would want to win like the 600 or something like that. But yeah, 25 career wins, that's quite the achievement.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely more crown jewels. I feel like I've barely won any of them besides the Linsanity runs at Iowa for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the Iowa Air, but that Road Car 500 win is aging. That it's been like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, it was season 1.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, there could be a
But
reason why, but
yeah, it's definitely aging. It's getting kind of old. So, and definitely with how close I've been with the 600, I mean, I think I finished second this season. I could be wrong, but I know for a fact I finished second last season. So to be so close to that one, that's one I really want. You know, just being the longest race. And obviously, everyone in the field wants a Road Car 500, but it's just been so long since I won on a super speedway. I'll take the Daytona race or the Talladega race.
Yeah. And I do want to mention, speaking of the all-time wins list, CSP, you're second on that list with 17 wins. Clocks and Craigus are tied for third with 8. I'm in fourth with 7. Then rounding out the top 5 is CD, who is now retired, and he has 5 wins. So you two are kind of in a league of your own. It goes from 17 in second place to 8th in third. So definitely a big separation there.
well, I think I'll kind of elaborate on that a little bit. I think somebody's definitely going to pass me in wins because 8 to 17, you only need maybe like 4 or 5 wins a season. That's not much at all.
Yeah. And me
So
and Craigus are kind of battling for that third spot right now. Because
yeah,
he has 8, I have 7. So
I think my goal would at least just to get to maybe 20 by the time like I'm fully done driving. I would like to at least get 3 more wins. That would be nice. Because I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking I either had 16 or 17, but I like didn't care enough to do the math. Um, but I would say somebody's definitely going to pass me, but Land, I'm not sure. He's kind of like Richard Petty status right now. I'm not
Hmm.
sure if anybody's going to catch him. If if he keeps driving, I think
if he
if
keeps
somebody
driving,
if he retires, if you retire, Land, and somebody ends up driving longer than you do and catches up to you, that could be kind of neck and neck thing right there. But that's very far down the road. Because still somebody would have to get up to 25 wins and then pass you somehow. So still a long way to go for that. But thank you for that stat. That was pretty good to know. You got anything else you want to ask him later?
I don't think so, no.
All right. Is there anything you want to ask us, Land?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. I figured I'd flip the tables a little bit. I don't know. We'll keep you around because we've got a couple more things to get to. And we like to keep our guests in the studio. We are gonna have a little fun for a second, and we are going to, instead of rate the race, we're gonna rate the season. And this is encapsulating every race this season, and
Gosh.
everything that's happened. Take everything considered and
Oh man.
jumble it into one percentage from a 0 to
Oh, good idea.
100% scale. I don't know if you guys would want to start or if I should start, but
Don't let me start. I
okay.
remember last season I gave last season a bad score. I want to hear other people before I give my score.
Should we go from right to left? Land, do you want to start?
Oh man. See, if we flip the 48 and it's 84, that's gonna be my score.
Okay.
Um, no real reason
Okay.
behind it. I really liked how long the season was and how diverse the schedule was, and we should have more road courses.
Okay. Maybe something to take a note of later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am gonna give it a 65%. Um, I think it was a pretty okay season. Um, there's been seasons where I think like different aspects have been bad, and we've had some struggles this year with different stuff. Um, but I would say it was a pretty good season overall. And we've had a lot of good finishes, a lot of good races, so there's definitely a lot to look on. I think just the part that got it for me though was just I had a very different perspective of the season, and I've been very critical, and I will apologize because it wasn't fair on my part to criticize that much of everybody that was involved with putting the league on and doing what we had to do every week. But I will say, you know, all that aside, there were still some weeks where we had struggles with the cars and different tracks and just it got a little repetitive and a little tiring at some points. So I would say my percentage is at a 65 for this season. All right, Laner, you're up next.
Uh, I'm kind of on the same page as you. I think I would go 65, but I was leaning towards lower. Uh, I don't know. Like the season was just really long. Um, and it just seems like we could never get into a good rhythm as a league. Um, we would have a good race where there was no controversy and everybody was happy, and then we would go right back the next week and something would happen and everyone was pissed off at each other. Um, and I don't know. Like we just never got into a good rhythm where we could put two or three races together where there were no issues. Like it was just kind of all over the place. It was up and down. We had times where the season was going good. We had times where it was going really bad. We had times where it was kind of bad. And that's kind of what you get in a long season. But I don't know. I've said it before. These cars are not meant to be driven the way that they are driven. Um, they are not meant for aggressive driving. You hit somebody in the wrong spot and they're getting spun out. So naturally, people are going to get pissed off with this type of racing. And having a long season, in my opinion, was not a good idea in hindsight. So I don't know. I had fun this season, but I also had times where I was really pissed off this season. So 65% for me.
Man, you got pissed off at one point. You left the league.
Yeah.
You you
Yeah.
you like
I
four
was
figure
pretty
playoff
freaking
position,
mad, dude.
everything. Like we're not
Well,
forgetting that.
you know, I regret not mentioning that in my Milwaukee interview because I should have been like, I literally left the league last week. Now I'm here and I just won. So I feel like whenever I rewatch the race, I'm like, damn, I should have mentioned that. But I didn't. But regardless, I won the next week and we got into the championship anyways. It didn't matter. But yeah, that was rough. I'll write a book someday about my Las Vegas experience. Don't worry. But
I'm not
my
excited for
tell
that.
all,
The Laner
my tell
33
all.
Chronicles.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was nobody's fault in particular. I mean, the cars are just, I don't know. It's a little bit of the cars, it's a little bit of driver respect, it's a little bit of just everything kind of. I don't know. It wasn't a bad season. I enjoyed it, but there were also very frustrating times.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I do want to mention something too with this season that I noticed. There was a lot of variety throughout the season, and that's something that I really enjoyed. Um, just how many drivers were able to find victory lane, but also like what these cars allowed for drivers to do, like for Wendigo to go on his streak for how long as he did, just being up front and being as consistent as he was, or, you know, um, with Land or I, winning as many races as we did, but also just being in the mix constantly. There was a lot of races where things did not play out like the way they should have. Um, and I think a lot of times during the races, you know, the racing was it was definitely interesting to watch. Because we had some this season that were multi-groove, we had some that were just one groove. We had road courses, there was just a mix of everything. And, a
Yeah.
lot of drivers showed up at the right time. Not all of them found victory lane, but not all of them are going to find victory lane. And that's just the part of this whole thing. It's who can rise to the occasion at the right time. And I think there was just a good variety of winners. There was a good variety um, of of racing. I think just this season is what we saw. I'm not comparing it to last season. I think last season was good too, but I think this season was definitely um, it definitely outperformed maybe a lot of the other seasons that I've seen. It was
I would
it was a lot of fun.
I would say honestly, I would have liked to see more parity. And I know that sounds crazy, but like if you look at the standings, the dominant drivers this season were myself, you guys, Craigus, and that was it. Like other than us four, nobody else got more than one win. I won a race and Wendigo won a race, but other than that, us four won all the races. So I would have really liked to see Lego or Aiden or Jax or, like one of those guys kind of win a race or two, maybe. But it seems like you kind of knew who was going to win in a given week. It was probably going to be one of those four guys. Because Wendigo didn't even win a race until the round of 6. So you you knew going to the track one of those four guys was probably going to win. Obviously, Wendigo was always a threat, but he still hadn't won a race, so you couldn't really count him to win at that point. So I don't know. I would have liked to see more parity, but I guess that's just kind of what happens in road car. You just have a group of drivers that normally win races.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's worth mentioning too is that not to kind of change topics, but like Texas was like the only clean race I felt like we had. Um,
Yeah,
entirely like
Milwaukee kind of.
yeah, you could probably throw Milwaukee in there too, but like nothing really happened in Texas. Like I can't really give you any controversial moments of the race. There was really none to recall off of. I think Texas was like the one race this season where everything went perfectly. Um, and yeah, I don't know. There was a lot obviously with each race, but um, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. But uh, back to kind of what you were saying, yeah, I think it was kind of like how like back in 2018 or 2019 with NASCAR stuff, they had like the big three. It was
Hmm.
Bush, Harvick, and
Yeah.
Martin. I think we kind of were like those drivers this year, like the big three or big four or whatever. Because you know we were very consistent all season long, and it was it was tough getting through the entire season, and trying to keep getting the same results. Just staying consistent. But um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting though how the three of us all manage that, and Craigus managed that as well. Um, anything else you guys want to mention though with this season?
I don't think so.
Not really, no.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Um, I didn't have this in the lineup, but I want to mention it really quick. Watkins Glen is this weekend in real life, and I am listen. It's a hard weekend to be a Truex fan, so you know, I'm not gonna start putting like picks out there and putting stuff into the universe and all that. But do you guys want to make picks or make championship picks or whatever? Since this is our last episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
All right. Um, I know that a lot of people have been making these same picks, but I'm going with Bell, Hamlin, Reddick, and Larson. Um, I think like those four guys have been so good all season long, and Bell usually like I know last season and the season before, he usually performs better. Like his time to shine starts around the playoffs. So I'm expecting that team to like be very very good. Um, I don't know. Like my only thing is I don't know with Larson. Like he's been fast all season long. I just don't know if he'll win the championship. Like the Toyotas have been really good. Um, and they've won a lot of races this year, and Phoenix is one of those tracks where it is comparable to some of the short tracks that they run at, and a lot of the Toyotas outshine at the short tracks. They've outshined this year at the short tracks. So I think for that reason I'm gonna have to pick a Toyota to win the championship, and I'm gonna pick Denny Hamlin. Yeah. um, I
Oh
don't know
man.
why, I just have a feeling he's gonna win it. Prove me wrong, I guess. But Denny Hamlin is my pick to win the championship this year. So I
Okay.
guess you guys can give final four predictions and your championship pick.
So I want to think that one of the Penske cars will make it in. Um, just because it seems like a Ford has made it the past few seasons. Um, unfortunately, it pains me to say it, but I'm gonna have Blaney in my final four. So I have Blaney, Bell, Reddick, and Blaney, Bell, Reddick, and who am I missing? Blaney, Bell, Reddick, Larson. Larson's my fourth. Um, and in this scenario, I think Blaney and Bell would have the two best cars. Because it seems like Penske and JGR have been the best at the short flat ovals this season. But I would have to go with Bell to win the championship.
He did win Phoenix in the spring. It doesn't matter because the spring race is always different from the fall race. But
Yeah, I
I
do think like if Penske can make it there, they are a dangerous team in Phoenix. I mean they've proven that the past 2 years. So I don't know if Blaney or Logano make it. That you watch out for them. But I still think I still have a gut feeling that Bell will win it.
yeah, he definitely has a chance. I mean, Penske's won the past two championships. Um,
Yeah,
and
they got to make it. That's the big thing for them because they don't have speed at the intermediates. Uh, so once you get to the final round and you got to go to Vegas and Homestead. I mean, you're probably gonna have to win a race. So I
yeah,
don't know. That's my big thing. You got to make it there.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Um, all right, Land, you're up.
All right. So my championship four. I'm kind of worried about Larson this round. With how he started at Atlanta. I think if he'll make it through this round, he'll just have a straight shot. I have Larson making it. I'm not really sold on Reddick just because of how bad he was in the round of 8 last year. Like that was pretty bad, and I can't really forget his Martinsville run. So if Bell and Larson win Las Vegas and Homestead, I feel like it's over for Reddick. So I have Larson, Hamlin, Bell, and then I think it was Blaney making it in. It's either gonna be Blaney or Logano. Um, I really don't want another Penske championship, but I feel like if they make it to Phoenix, that's probably what it's gonna be, unfortunately. But I'm gonna be biased here, and I'm gonna pick Bell to win it because I feel like we've had enough pain since last year.
Yeah, you guys pulled the Chastain.
Yeah.
It's all right though. I think he has a pretty good chance to make it. I think the thing with Larson is that Hendricks won the last 5 races at Watkins Glen, and they won the last 2 with like different drivers in the next gen cars there. So I think they'll be fine this weekend, and I think Larson will put himself back in a good position points wise. But I think those that have been running mid pack all year at the road courses are going to run mid pack, like Burton, Briscoe, Keselowski, all those guys. I think they'll be towards the back. I have no doubt about that. Okay, well, you got some last minute picks from us, so that was pretty interesting. I feel like I'm kind of the outlier picking Denny Hamlin because who in their right mind nowadays picks Denny Hamlin for anything?
So
Man,
you're
I gotta
both.
see him make it out of this round first. I
Listen, I don't
mean,
know
Yeah.
what the
you
hell that
know,
strategy was at Atlanta. I think he thought that wreck was going to happen like every lap, but at some point he should have just put his foot to the metal and stepped on it. I don't know why he
the
didn't get
problem
up.
is I don't even think he had a fast enough car to get through, even
Yeah.
if he
Me
wanted
either.
to.
Well,
Like that
this is the
qualifying
problem
effort,
though.
man, that was tough.
I don't know. It's hard to
I
say
will.
because they fixed the problem after qualifying and then they just stayed in the back all day. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like there's something deeper going on though. Like when has Denny ever done that? And you want me to believe they do that the first race of the playoffs? Like I don't there's something fishy going on to me. I don't fully believe that strategy, Cole. Like I think there's something else going on that they don't want to say. I don't know what. I'm not going to speculate. I'm just saying that that's not the Denny Hamlin I know personally. Like he's never been like that. So I'm not led to believe that he just started that first race of the playoffs.
I'm not sure if the Denny Hamlin that we grew up with is still here. Unfortunately, he hasn't won since Bristol, or even really been like in a race-winning situation besides for the terrorist incident at Richmond. Um, but I don't know if I feel like he may have just all of a sudden had that mid-season fall off that unfortunately Jimmy Johnson had, Kevin Harvick had, just drivers that are near the end of their careers.
It's possible, yeah, but if he makes it through this round, he's going to contend at Kansas, in my opinion. And he'll contend at Vegas and Homestead as well. And you would think Martinsville. Um, so who knows? He really just needs to make it through this round.
I will say this though, watch for that 48 at Watkins Glen. I just have a feeling, with how aggressive he was at Atlanta, and he literally ran like third the entire race. He's been pretty good at road courses this year. He
Yeah,
finished
he won
third at
Chicago.
yeah, and he finished third at Coda. He could very well lock himself in this weekend.
Let me pull up the results from the Watkins Glen race last year. So obviously William Byron won the race, but I'm trying to find. Let's see. Okay, so interesting. Denny Hamlin finished second. Christopher Bell was third. Allmendinger fourth. Ty Gibbs fifth. Martin was sixth. Chris Buescher was seventh. Reddick was eighth. Blaney was ninth. Logano was 10th. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I think the whole thing with Denny I'm not sure if there's anything fishy going on behind the scenes, related to the charter deal, but I would hope not because that would be really effed up. Because he's racing for a whole different team, like he owns a team, but he's racing for a different team. So it's just messed up, like this whole deal, how it's played out. Um, but I don't know. That is a topic for another episode. Um, let's move on because we are kind of running on time here. So let's just go around and say one thing we're looking forward to next season. Um, I guess I'll start. I think I'm looking forward to seeing the schedule, obviously, but I'm looking forward to getting to the track from a different perspective. Um, just watching the races, maybe even doing some commentary here and there. I may step into the booth here and there. Um, but obviously, just looking forward to seeing the races from a different perspective, and seeing what changes go on, I guess, over this off season. But on to you guys.
Um, I'm excited for the unknowns, just because we don't really know what to expect with a new car and new tracks, everything like that. So yeah, I've obviously tested the new cars a little bit, and even testing them, I have no idea how it's going to be whenever we get a group of cars out there together, racing for position. So it'll be very exciting, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so me personally, if we do have any road courses, I'd like to get better at those. I feel like even though we won Coda, we made it a lot more difficult than it had to be. So just execution wise, I'd like to get better at road courses and of course super speedways, but that's something that I'm already looking into.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see how next season shakes out. Thank you, Land, for joining us. Again, it's been a pleasure driving with you, and congratulations again on your championship again this season. Look forward to seeing you race. I guess I'm not sure if the 500 will be at Daytona or Talladega. I would assume it's moving again. But look forward to seeing you out at the start of next season. And that is going to do it for us here at the Money Stop. First season is in the books. And it's our 20th episode, by the way, too. We got to 20 episodes. I don't know how or why, or how, most importantly. But nonetheless, we've made it to 20 episodes, and we are capping it off here for the end of this season. Just a reminder that we will be back for season two. Um, Obviously, don't know a timeline of that yet. Once we have more information from next season, we will kind of coordinate based off of that. But from me and Laner, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in every week and being a part of the conversation. It's certainly been a blast. And we're going to take a little time off from the podcast and maybe do a rebrand depending on, just what happens. May have to do a rebrand, but we'll be back in full force next season. Later, I don't know if you want to leave off with anything, but
Uh, mm, I will say that we should have. I say this every time, but we're hoping to have cars available for people to test very soon, like within the next few weeks. So keep your eyes out on that. Um, and we hope that everybody enjoys them. I will say they race pretty similar to what we have now. There's just a few new things to them, but overall, I think people will enjoy them a lot.
yeah, and certainly looking forward to it. Just a reminder as well to fill out those award forms if you have not already. But we will see you at the award ceremony coming up in just a short few days. And if not, we'll see you at the, I guess, new World Center of Racing, which will be at probably Talladega or here, right at Daytona. Again, not really sure where the season will kick off, but assuming it'll be one of those two tracks. We will see you very, very soon. Have a great off season, everybody, and take care and have a great night.
See you guys.
See ya.